Children, let's move on to the next application of Gauss's law, that is the electric field due to an infinite plane sheet. So in the figure, can you see this sheet? This is our plane sheet, and positive charges are uniformly distributed along this plane sheet. We have considered a point P at a distance r from the plane sheet. Due to the symmetry of the sheet, we have considered the same point P on the other side also, which is at the same distance r from the sheet. So in order to find out electric field intensity at the point P, we need to construct a Gaussian surface, because we are finding out the electric field, because we aim to find out electric field intensity at the point P by Gauss's law. And to apply Gauss's law, we need a closed surface or Gaussian surface. So that will be our first step. And here I have considered Gaussian surface in the form of cylinder, and that cylinder encloses the point P. What will be the total length of the cylinder? The total length of the cylinder will be r plus r. That means it will be 2r. And as discussed before, this cylinder has three surfaces, two end surfaces and one curved surface. So 1 and 3 represents the end surfaces of the cylinder, and this surface represents the curved surface of the cylinder. Now we have considered area elements on these three surfaces. So this represents area element on the curved surface. And what is the direction of area vector? Perpendicular to the surface. This is the direction of area vector. What will be the direction of electric field? So since positive charges are distributed here, the direction of electric field will be outward on both sides of the sheet. So here it will be pointing outward like this, and on this side it will be pointing outward like this. So this is the direction of electric field, and this is the direction of area vector. What is the angle between electric field and area vector? Yes, it is 90 degree. So whenever the angle is 90 degree, the electric flux through that area is 0, because cos 90 is 0. So the curved surface is not going to contribute to the total electric flux. Next, consider the contribution of end surfaces. So in end surfaces, this is the direction of area vector, perpendicular to the area. What is the direction of electric field? Yes, it will be always same. This will be the direction. So what is the angle between electric field and area vector? Yes, the angle is 0. Theta is 0 for the end surface 3. Similarly, for the end surface 1, this is area vector and this is electric field. So the angle between electric field and area vector is again 0 for that end surface. So both the end surfaces contribute to the total electric flux. So that is what written here. The total electric flux is the flux phi1 plus phi2 plus phi3, then equal to integral E dot dA for surface 1, integral E dot dA for surface 2, integral E dot dA for surface 3. Here the first surface will contribute because it is the end surface, and EDA cos 0, that is EDA. Then second surface is the curved surface. It doesn't contribute anything. So since the angle between electric field and area vector is 0, so it will be 0. And here again 3 is the end surface. It will contribute. So when you expand, you will get EDA cos 0. And you know EDA cos 0 is EDA itself. Here also electric field intensity is same at any points on the cylinder, on the end surface of the cylinder. So it can be taken outside the integral. You will get E into integral dA. Again plus here also you will get E into integral dA. And you know integral dA is what? The total area of the surface. So we can simply write A here. Okay, because it is not the curved surface area. We are finding out the end surface area. So just write A here. Again here when you integrate dA, you will get A. So you will get EA plus EA. EA plus EA becomes 2EA. This is the total electric flux through this Gaussian surface. Next we can apply Gauss's law. So when you apply Gauss's law, we will get phi is equal to Q by epsilon naught. We already got the expression for phi. What is that? 2EA. And what is Q here? You know sigma, surface charge density, is Q by A. We need to consider surface charge density here. Why? Because we have considered the surface charge distribution, a plane sheet. So therefore Q is equal to sigma into A. So substituting the expressions for phi and Q, in equation number 1, you will get 2EA. Instead of 5, substitute 2EA. Instead of Q, substitute sigma A. 2EA equal to sigma into A by epsilon. A and A are like terms. It will cancel. Then what is left? 2E equal to sigma by epsilon naught. So therefore E, electric field intensity E equal to sigma by 2 epsilon naught. And from this expression it is clear, this electric field intensity does not depend on any distance from the sheet. That means here the distance from the sheet was R. The expression for electric field intensity does not involve any term containing R. So electric field intensity due to a plane sheet is constant. It does not depend upon any distance. It will be constant. Since sigma is a constant, 2 epsilon naught is a constant. So electric field intensity will be constant in the case of surface charge distribution or plane sheet. One more application is that is volume charge distribution. How will you apply Gauss's law to find out electric field intensity for a volume charge distribution? That will be discussed in the coming session. Okay, children. With this, I am concluding my session. Notes of the topic and a YouTube video based on the same topic has been uploaded. Please go through it. There will be a small test based on the session. Attend the test and post me the answers quickly. And also I would like to give one assignment from this lesson. So assignment also will be posted along with the notes. Just go through the work and post me the assignment also in your Google Classroom itself. We will meet in the next session. Till then, take care. Stay home, stay safe, keep learning. Thank you.